Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
Now we begin the English language transmission from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
We now present a mixed chorus, Song of General Kim Il-sung. Chorus, Song of General Kim Jong-il. Respected Kim Jong-un, First Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, First Chairman of the National Defense Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army, together with Lee Sol-ju, visited Operation Airport in the western area and guided the combat flying technique games of the flight commanders of the air and anti-aircraft force of the Korean People's Army 2014. He was accompanied by Hwang Byung-so and the leading officials of the armed forces organs. Seeing the games together with him were senior officials of the Central Committee of the party and the exemplary combat pilots of the air and anti-aircraft force. At 9 a.m., the plane carrying respected Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un arrived at the Operation Airport. The commander of the Guard of Honor of the Air and Anti-Aircraft Force of the Korean People's Army made a salute to him. After the national anthem, the patriotic song was played. Kim Jong-un reviewed the Guard of Honor. General of the Air Force of the Korean People's Army, Lee Byung-chul, commander of the Air and Anti-Aircraft Force of the Korean People's Army, made opening address. He said, the combat flying technique games of the flight commanders of the Air and Anti-Aircraft Force of the Korean People's Army 2014 are significant training games which are held for the first time in the history of the Army building at the direct proposal of respected Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un. He expressed the belief that the flight commanders would take part in the games with a high political enthusiasm, according to the noble intention of Kim Jong-un, who organized the games, and thus make an active contribution to launching an intensive drive to raise flying technique in the Air Force and declare the games open. Respected Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un gave an order of sortie. The games divided into the group of the commanders of the combined units and the group of the commanders of units started, and Red Hawks flew up into the sky one after another with a deafening roar. The commanders correctly hit the target area, wonderfully performing difficult flying movements such as wing over, combat circling, meeting a stay, limit flight after over 18,000 meters, 30-meter contour flying, and stunts. Attentively watching the bold and skillful training of the flight commanders, Kim Jong-un expressed great satisfaction. After the morning games were over, respected Kim Jong-un was invited to a field lunch prepared by the Air and Anti-Aircraft Force. At the recess of the lunch, the performance of the Korean People's Army Air and Anti-Aircraft Force Sanghyun Dance Ensemble and the concert of the military band of the Korean People's Army were given, fueling the enthusiasm for the games. In the afternoon games, Colonel General of the Air Force Oh Gung-chol, Deputy Chief of the General Staff of the Korean People's Army, and the flight commanders fully displayed their erstwhile flying techniques. Kim Jong-un praised them for having wonderfully performed their flying tasks. He said the games were organized to implant again the idea and demand of the party on strengthening flight training deep in the minds of the flight commanders and enable them to conduct trainings in the vein of the pilots under the slogan, "Forward behind me," so that the hot wind of training of Mount Baekdu should blow hard in the Air Force like lava. He noted that how the Air Force implements the operational plan and intention of the Supreme Command in the fight against the enemy depends entirely on the flight commanders. And he stressed that the commanding officers should have high combat flying techniques and firmly prepare all the pilots in the unit as death-defying core of the sky. Marks estimated with the latest monitor was summed up and ranking was decided. Vice Marshal of the Korean People's Army Hwang Byung-so, Director of the General Political Bureau of the Army, announced the results of the games. Lee Il-chun, Commander of Unit 858, Yoo Hak-chul, Commander of Unit 458, and Lee Myung-ho, Commander of Unit 344 of the Air and Anti-Aircraft Force of the Korean People's Army, took the first place in the group ranking. Respected Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un personally awarded prizes to the distinguished flight commanders and units. He congratulated the flight commanders on their successful games and had a picture taken with them. The commander of the Air and Anti-Aircraft Force declared the games closed. Kim Jong-un embarked on the plane, acknowledging the enthusiastic cheers of the flight commanders. Respected Kim Jong-un received congratulatory messages and letters from different countries on his re-election as first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK at the first session of the 13th Supreme People's Assembly. The messages and letters came from the chairman of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Bangladesh, the general chairman and the general secretary of the National Leading Council of the Diversity Party of Indonesia, the general chairman and the general secretary of the National Guidance Council of the Pioneer Party of Indonesia, the chairman of the Communist Party of Germany, the chairman of the Supreme Council of the Socialist Party of Romania, the chairman of the Socialist Choice Party of Romania, the chairwoman of the Party for Peace and Unity of Russia, the chairman of the Workers' Party of Hungary, the acting general secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia, and the chairman of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Czech and Moravia. The messages and letters also came from the Deputy General Secretary of the Islamic Coalition Party of Iran, the Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Slovakia, the Secretary General of the United Nations, the General Director of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the Secretary General of the Non-Aligned Students and Youth Organization, and the higher-ranking political, public, and economic personages of China, Russia, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Kuwait, Thailand, Kazakhstan, Iran, Germany, Belarus, Switzerland, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Finland, Britain, Italy, South Africa, Libya, the Democratic Congo, Tunisia, Ethiopia, and Brazil, and representatives of international organizations, church idea study organizations, and organizations for support to Korea's reunification and for friendship. The messages and letters express the belief that the DPRK, led by respected Kim Jong-un, will prosper forever, and the Korean armed people surely achieve the final victory. Respected Kim Jong-un also received messages of greetings from the chairman of the Central Committee of the Party, Communists of Russia, the president of the Socialist Party of Benin, and the co-chairman of the Council of the Kim Il-sung Kim Jong-il Foundation on the occasion of the second anniversary of his election as first Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. The participants in the European Regional Chuchi Idea Seminar on the experiences and role of Europe in defending independence and peace of the world sent a letter to respected Kim Jong-un on May the 3rd. The letter said, "The recent seminar held when the demand for socio-political stability is daily increasing was a significant gathering which stressed the role of Europe in the cause of global independence and powerfully promoted its realization. It confirmed that the Chuchi idea, the Sungun idea, is the correctest guiding idea of the modern times. Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism, whose profound contents were formulated and clarified by Your Excellency Kim Jong-un, is the greatest idea to destroy the dominationist forces' arbitrariness and interference in others' internal affairs, defend the sovereignty of the country and nation, and guarantee the victory of the cause of global independence, and the only guideline to be upheld by the humanity of the whole world. We more actively study and disseminate Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism in conformity with the specific conditions of each country and region. We'll actively support and encourage the Korean people in their struggle to defend the sovereignty of the country and achieve independent and peaceful reunification," the letter said, and sincerely wished His Excellency, respected Kim Jong-un, good health and happiness. Kim Yong-nam received messages of greetings from the President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar and the President of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam upon his re-election as President of the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK, expressing the belief that the friendly and cooperative relations between the DPRK and those countries will continue to be strengthened and developed in the future too. The messages wished Kim Yong-nam success in his work for the happiness and prosperity of the Korean people. Park Bong-gil received messages of greetings from the President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, the Prime Minister of the Government of the People's Democratic Republic of Laos, the Prime Minister of Mongolia, and the Prime Minister of the Government of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam on his re-election as Premier of the Cabinet of the DPRK. The messages expressed the belief that the traditional relations of friendship and cooperation between the DPRK and their countries would be constantly consolidated and developed in the interests of the peoples of the DPRK and those countries, and thus contribute to peace and stability, cooperation and development of the region and the world. DPRK wrestler Lee Se-ung defeated his Uzbek rival 8-0, Indian rival by a 4, and the player of Taipei of China 10-0 at the men's Greco-Roman 42-kilogram category event of the 2014 Asian Junior Wrestling Championship. He defeated the Iranian rival in the finals and won a gold medal. Meanwhile, DPRK wrestler Roy Yong-jin snatched the bronze medal at the men's Greco-Roman 50-kilogram category event. Lee Soo-young received messages of greetings from the Foreign Minister of the Republic of Cuba, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Government and Foreign Minister of the People's Democratic Republic of Laos, the Foreign Minister of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Mongolia, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Cabinet and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates of the Syrian Arab Republic, the Foreign Minister of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, and the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of the Republic of Korea upon his appointment as Foreign Minister of the DPRK. The delegation of the Southwest Africa People's Organization of Namibia, led by General Secretary Nangolo Mbumba, flew in Pyongyang on the 9th. The Secretariat of the Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of Korea issued information number 1062 on the 9th. The information said, some time ago, the South Korean court sentenced an inhabitant to 1 year in prison and 1 year suspension of qualification and detained him who visited Pyongyang in 1995 and paid respects to the fatherly leader Kim Il-sung laid in state at the Kumsan Palace of the Sun. When he returned to South Korea in January last year after staying in Germany, the South Korean puppets indicted and sentenced him to 1.5 years in prison and substituted him in the stay of execution on suspicion of the violation of the national security law. This time they held another trial and threw him into prison, saying he had sided with the propaganda activities of the North. The fascist violence committed by the Park Geun-hye clan to an inhabitant who had paid respects to President Kim Il-sung, who is remembered forever in the minds of the world people and the entire fellow countrymen as the son of mankind and father of the nation, is a challenge and vicious provocation against the dignity of our supreme leadership and an unpardonable infringement on the unanimous longing of the South Korean fellow countrymen for the son of the nation. Park Geun-hye is the most vicious villain and confrontation fanatic who, during the great mourning of the nation in December 2011, disallowed the South Korean people of different strata to pay mourning visit and express condolences, and malignantly insulted our people who are shedding bitter tears with the pain of the great loss, making disgusting outbursts such as principled countermeasures and conflicts in the South. Their recent fascist violence is a main trick to divert elsewhere the South Korean people's sentiments on the verge of explosion because of the great disasters of the Ferris War and save the government from the serious crisis by persecution of the North followers. As the sun in the sky cannot be kept off with the hand, with no saber rattling can they put down the faith and conscience of the South Korean fellow countrymen following the father of the nation, the information added. The South Korean internet newspaper Zazumingo posted an article on the 7th denouncing the puppet group for threatening the public as regards the sinking of the ferry. The article said, the Ministry of Education has recently instructed the schools to punish students circulating false rumors concerning the case of the sunk ferry. The Daegu City Educational Agency declared a disciplinary action against a teacher who said the president is responsible for the disasters of the sunk ferry seawall. The Ulsan City Educational Agency forced the head of the Ulsan branch of the Teachers Union to delete an article blogged on the internet under the title, "The only solution of the recent case is the resignation of Park Geun-hye," terming it an act of tarnishing the faith and prestige of public officials. The government is threatening internet and people to keep silence as South Korea is under the Park Geun-hye regime it abused. The Peruvian Group for the Study of Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism released a statement on the 3rd denouncing the United States and the South Korean authorities for their reckless moves against the DPRK. The statement said the provocative remarks against the DPRK made by Obama during his recent junket to the Asian region triggered off indignation of not only the Korean people but also the progressive mankind of the world. It denounced the U.S. imperialists and their soldiers for their moves to suffocate the DPRK. Meanwhile, a meeting of the Executive Committee of the Women's International Democratic Federation, recently held in Moscow of Russia, denounced the United States for its hostile policy towards the DPRK and expressed support to the just cause of the Korean people. And that's the end of the news read by Kim Hyun-ok. This is Voice of Korea. You enjoy your female quintet. The bosom of Marshal Kim Jong-un is best. professional female instrumental ensemble. The party is Mother.
female sextet, young people forward following the party. Single-hearted unity is a powerful weapon for the building of a thriving nation. Respected Kim Jong-un said, the solid single-hearted unity of the army and people around the party constitutes the cornerstone of our style of socialism and a great foundation in building a thriving nation. Today, the U.S. imperialists and their followers dislike and viciously hinder the building of a thriving nation in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. But the Korean people are not afraid of it even a little, but hastening the building of a thriving socialist nation with full confidence and optimism. It is the faith and will of the Korean people to build a thriving socialist nation. Everything is insufficient and difficult, but the Korean people have the strength to build it. That is, the single-hearted unity of the leader, party, army, and people others cannot have. Recently alone, the Korean people have achieved brilliant successes in the struggle for the building of an economic giant and the improvement of the people's living with the might of the single-hearted unity. It is proved well by the fact that in recent 2 or 3 years, they have built many gigantic creations others couldn't do even in 10 or 20 years. In hearty response to the party's call for creating the marching young spirit, the service personnel and people of Korea have wonderfully built many structures into the creations of the era of the Workers' Party with one mind and purpose in a short period. Thus they showed how the features of the motherland facelifting itself day by day, and the people's happy laughter got louder. Those facts are good examples that inform the world of the suffered strength for the building of a thriving socialist nation in Korea. Now the U.S. imperialists and their followers are leaving no stone unturned to slander the successes achieved in the building of a thriving socialist nation in the DPRK. They say the DPRK will never build a thriving nation, but it can be described as an ignorance of Korea. With the might of the single-hearted unity, the Korean people made a breakthrough for the building of a thriving nation in the last decade of the 20th century, when others would have fallen down many a time. Today they are running like the wind along the road of advance. The U.S. imperialists and their followers should clearly know the might of the single-hearted unity of the Korean people. Through their past experiences, the Korean people keep the truth that the might of the single-hearted unity is the great foundation in the building of a thriving nation. The Korean people will surely build a thriving socialist nation on this land under the leadership of respected Kim Jong-un, with the might of the firm single-hearted unity around him. You've been listening to an account under the title, Single-Hearted Unity is a Powerful Weapon for the Building of a Thriving Nation. This is Voice of Korea. Now here's a chorus and an orchestral music, Single-Hearted Unity. appreciate the orchestral music, The Road of Victory. English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Southeast Asia between 5 and 6 hours UTC on 13,650 kHz and 15,105 kHz, and between 10 and 11 hours UTC on 11,745 kHz and 13,650 kHz. For Middle East and Northern Africa between 16 and 17 hours UTC on 9,890 kHz and 11,645 kHz, and between 19 and 20 hours UTC on 9,875 kHz and 11,635 kHz. For Southern Africa between 19 and 20 hours UTC on 7,210 kHz and 11,910 kHz. And for Central and South Americas between 4 and 5 hours UTC on 11,735 kHz, 13,760 kHz, and 15,180 kHz, and between 10 and 11 hours UTC on 11,710 kHz and 15,180 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.